Breaking tonight, police are investigating after another sexual assault was reported in a Madison neighborhood, the third in just 1 week. And they believe all are connected. How officers are responding.
Ma'am. Ma'am. Officer Buzzy. Blink if you can hear me.
Plus, day 2 of the Marcus Randall trial begins with testimonies from officers who first responded to the scene where the 2 victims were found.
We're watching News 3 now at 5. A weather alert day remains in the forecast tonight through tomorrow as a winter storm system makes its way towards southern Wisconsin.
Some cities, including Portage, Lodi, and Evansville, are already under snow emergencies, and that means alternate street parking will be in effect. We have live team coverage tonight, sharing everything you need to know to get ready for the storm. Our Armand Rahman is live on the east side of Madison. He's with the Madison Streets Division.
But we begin with Julian Searide for our certified most accurate forecast. Julian?
Well, now it's just kind of watching when we're going to start to see a little bit of activity rolling into the rest of this evening. But for the next couple of hours, it's going to stay rather dry here in Madison and much of Dane County. But areas closer to the Illinois state line could start to see a bit of some rain or wintry mixes once we get into the early parts of this evening. Let's talk about our winter weather headlines. Many of us into that purple on your screen as our winter weather advisory, which is going to go into effect from areas like Platteville with Grant County starting around 6 p.m., us in Dane County around 7 p.m., and areas to the east 9 p.m. And it's all going to be in effect until tomorrow and around Morningside for us in Dane County. But further east, we're going to see that stick around until noon. Then further north, areas in our county or in our and for our DMA, we're going to be looking for Juneau and Adams County within that winter storm warning. But outside of that, well, let's talk about the winter storms in the south. Well, tonight into tomorrow morning, we're looking for 2 to 6 inches of snowfall to be expected, but many areas like Madison and areas south are looking more around 2, maybe 3 inches of snowfall. And the closer you are to Illinois, we're looking more of that to be mainly wintry mixes or even some freezing rain throughout much of this event. And that's what we're starting to see as of right now. That's the system that's going to be bringing in some of that wintry impacts throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Now, for much of Illinois, we're still seeing rain, but to the most northern parts of it, some small little flakes are starting to develop as it continues over the next 3 hours to bring in a bit of that wintry mix as temperatures are still above freezing as of right now. But as we get closer to tonight, we're going to see a bit more of that rain start to transition into snowfall. So looking ahead, planning out things for us, well, the 5 p.m. Rush hour is going to be fine, but once we get into later parts around dinner time and later into tonight, so we're going to start to see that wintry mix transition itself into snow, especially as we get closer to the midnight hour. But temperatures around 35 degrees for Madison, 37 in Janesville is what's really going to be keeping things to be a wintry mix or release some freezing rain to start. But as we get into later parts of tonight, as those temperatures start to slide, we'll see that transition into snowfall. But we'll time out the impacts and how our Thursday is going to be impacted in just a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Let's check in with Armand Rahman, who is on the east side of Madison right now.
Well, that's where streets crews are preparing for the storm. Armand, what can you tell us?
Yeah, guys, throughout the day, 32 plow trucks have been loading up salt here to use maybe throughout the night. Officials at the Street Division say the storm is looking to start out warm and rainy, like Julian said, so they're playing this weather event by ear. Take a look.
This particular storm, we don't really know right now if it's going to trigger a citywide plowing or not, because we don't plow every road in the city in Madison until there's 3 or more inches of snow on the road and the storm is at or near its end.
And they said expect slush to make things slippery late tonight and going into early tomorrow, because all of that snow will be landing and melting partially on very warm pavement. We're now live in Madison. Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. Now stay up to date on conditions in your area on channel3000.com, of course, but also our First Warn forecast weather app. Hourly forecasts, your school closings, road conditions, latest radar as well, and you can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. We're following some breaking news from Madison's east side after a third sexual assault was reported in the city's Greenbush neighborhood, actually on the near west side.
You'll remember that we first told you about the first 2 assaults last week. One happened at the intersection of South Park and Aaron Streets. The second at the intersection of Emerald and South Orchid Streets, both happening within minutes of each other last Tuesday.
Most recent assault happened on South Park Street. That was early last night. Police believe they're all connected to the same suspect. Braden Ross has more from Madison Police on how they're responding.
Eric and Susan, this latest assault happened last night at around 6:30 near St. Mary's Hospital. And police say a woman was walking on South Park Street when she was approached from behind and groped. The woman gave a similar description of the suspect as the other victims, a Hispanic man in his early 20s wearing dark clothing. Madison police say those in the area should be on the lookout for anything suspicious and stay alert when walking outside.
I don't want people to be living in fear, but I want them to be alert and aware. So especially if you're a young woman, you're walking in that neighborhood or in that area, that general area after dark, or even during the day, I want you to be aware of your surroundings.
And police are asking for any video footage of the area around the time of the assault, especially from houses and businesses on Mills Street. They say if they still have an increased presence in the area, and police also added that if you see anything suspicious in the Greenbush neighborhood, you should call them and let them know.
All right, Braden, thank you. It is the second day of the trial of a former Badger football player charged in the 2020 murders of 2 Janesville women.
Marcus Randall faces 2 felony charges of first-degree intentional homicide, as well as felony weapons-related charges in the shooting deaths of 27-year-old Brittany McAdory and 30-year-old Sierra Winchester. He has pleaded not guilty. Our Catherine Merck joins us live from the Rock County Courthouse in Janesville to tell us what happened in court today. Catherine?
Court has officially ended for today, and as for day 2 of the trial, we got to see a glimpse of some of the moments from the early morning hours of February 10th, the scene that Janesville police responded to that would eventually become the site of a double homicide.
Ma'am! Ma'am! Officer Buzzy! Blink if you can hear me.
This is part of the body camera footage the officers who first arrived to Midvale Drive in Janesville responded to an injured Brittany McAdory and Sierra Winchester. It's graphic video, so we're not showing you everything that was part of the body cam footage that was shown in court today. We also saw the last moments that the 2 women were seen together at a nearby gas station. Along with this video, officers described multiple pieces of evidence found at the crime scene, like bullet fragments, shell casings, and blood in the snow. One of the officers described the moment he spoke with one of the victims at the scene.
So I kept trying to tell her to keep breathing. I did ask her at one point of what happened, just trying to get any information whatsoever. And then while I was standing there, EMS personnel arrived and tended to her, and I assisted them.
We also saw photo evidence of the car where Marcus Randall allegedly fled the scene. Police said the car had evidence which included bloodstains and bullet remnants. Like you said, Marcus Randall is pleading not guilty to these charges. Reporting live in Janesville, I'm Catherine Merck for News 3 Now.
Catherine, thank you. And right now, Darlington police are asking for the public's help finding a man who has been missing since October. Investigators say 75-year-old Eugene Taylor could be in danger. Family and friends say they haven't heard from him since mid to late October. He's described as 6 feet tall, about 240 pounds, and frequently travels between homes in Darlington and Seward, Alaska. Officers say he may be hitchhiking. If you see him, you're asked to call police at the number at the bottom of your screen.
Tomorrow, the state legislature will vote on whether to put a constitutional amendment on the April ballot. But what does that mean when you go to cast your vote? Political reporter Will Keneally has the answer.
It's not like passing a bill into law. It's actually a pretty involved process to change the state's constitution. It starts in the state legislature, where the legislature creates a joint resolution to begin the amendment process. Once both chambers sign off on the proposal, it actually sits on the shelf for a while. Under the rules to pass an amendment, the legislature has to approve the measure in 2 different 2-year terms.
I mean, so the reason you want a higher bar before you have an amendment to a change in a constitution is because it is the higher law, right? It's a law that is supposed to set the parameters within which the system works.
So once that happens, it heads to the people for a referendum vote. They can either vote for it and approve it, it becomes part of the Constitution, or they can vote to reject it. And unlike states like California, this is the only way that Wisconsinites get to directly vote on legislation. We don't have a normal referendum process for just bills.
That allows supposedly the people to engage.
What we'll see tomorrow is a constitutional amendment on bail reform. So why couldn't this just be done through legislation? Why this additional process? Back in 1981, a constitutional amendment was passed that narrowed how judges can set bail. The amendment's authors want to broaden that. And after tomorrow's vote, we will likely see this on the April ballot. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
And as Will mentioned, the Assembly will take up the proposal tomorrow. Why they had to do so early in January is they faced a deadline of next week to get the amendment on the April ballot.
Senate Democrats and community leaders are now calling for a Wisconsin Elections Commissioner to resign. They're asking Robert Spindell to step down following comments he made about voters in Milwaukee. Spindell publicly applauded GOP tactics in the city during last year's midterms, crediting efforts to suppress turnout from Black and Hispanic voters. Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu has declined several occasions to comment on the matter. We reached out today, but a spokesperson for Senator LeMahieu was unavailable. News 3 Now also reached out to Spindell, but have not heard back. Next at 5, Julian shares what we can expect as this winter storm moves in.
Plus, Janesville is about a month away from getting a new grocery store, and they're looking for workers. We'll have details after the break.
And on Wall Street, the Dow slides almost 614 points. A 7-day win streak ends for the NASDAQ, down 138 points, and the S&P loses 62. We'll be right back.
Wisconsin. It's easy to take for granted how we warm up. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? For many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Do you have a coffee smile? Drinking coffee causes yellow teeth for thousands of people just like you. And whitening toothpaste just doesn't make those stains go away. Introducing Power Swabs, the first teeth whitening system that lifts coffee stains off your teeth in less than 5 minutes without whitening strips or trays.
The Power Swabs were so easy to use. I don't have to have strips sitting on my face for an hour. I don't have to have a foam tray where I feel like I'm gonna gag or I'm gonna go play football. I've tried like every over-the-counter whitening because, you know, I'm one of those people that like obsessed with white teeth.
So with the strips I've used in the past, most of them are like you gotta leave it on for 30 minutes and the whole experience is just not comfortable. But with Power Swabs, I just snapped it open and rubbed it on and it was good to go.
This didn't sting, it didn't burn, it didn't have an aftertaste. It was just a swab and I just gotta rub it on my teeth, and that was it.
The Secret is a tooth detergent and whitening agent developed by Dr. Martin Ginniker that lifts stains off of your teeth. Power Swabs remove stains on natural teeth, veneers, bonding, caps, and crowns. The best part is you just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you'll have whiter teeth. No more sitting at home with a whitening strip or tray in your mouth for 30 minutes twice a day.
When I used these whitening strips, I noticed when I would drink, I would get this crazy sensitivity. It would go right to my brain, and I'm like, I hate this. So why do I have to go through the monstrosity of this pain just because I want to whiten my teeth? With Power Swabs, there was zero sensitivity.
Within the first day with the Power Swab, I noticed there was a difference. I really love the fact that you're able to go individually on each tooth and make sure that it's going to be wider.
Call for your 5-minute solution to whiter teeth. Whiten your teeth this new year by ordering Power Swabs and receive up to 50% off the regular price. Yes, 50% off the regular price. Shipping is free, plus you'll receive a free quick stick pen. Visit powerswabs.com or call the number on your screen.
An alert day is in the forecast for this evening and for tomorrow. We're going to be tracking the latest on the winter storm.
And Janesville is getting an economic kickstart with a new store opening its doors. What residents should expect. That's tonight at 6.
A home improvement scam that took customers' money and left them with shoddy and unfinished work.
It was just a total nightmare.
See how our Call for Action team responded to dozens of complaints and what it could mean for the man responsible. Tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
At least 14 people were killed in a helicopter crash in Ukraine. Ukraine's interior minister, who is in charge of the country's police and National Guard, was among those killed. The helicopter came down near a kindergarten outside of Kyiv. killing many on the ground. It was reportedly dark and foggy at the time of the crash, and there hasn't been any recent fighting in the area. But what brought the helicopter down is still under investigation.
Attorneys for former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin were in court today with the hope of getting him a new trial. A jury convicted Chauvin in 2021 for the 2020 murder of George Floyd. Chauvin's attorneys are asking the court to overturn the conviction. They argue the case shouldn't have been tried in Minneapolis and the jury should have been fully sequestered. After a panel of Minnesota Court of Appeals justices hear the case, they then will have 90 days to issue a ruling. Chauvin was sentenced to more than 22 years in prison after video showed him kneeling on George Floyd's neck and back for more than 9 minutes while he was being arrested.
With so many different viruses circulating this winter, a new study out today finds it's the youngest Americans who suffer the most when they get hit with multiple respiratory illnesses at once. Michael George reports.
There have been warnings all winter about a so-called triple-demic of COVID, RSV, and flu. And new research suggests it's young children who get impacted the most. A study in the journal Pediatrics looked at children who were hospitalized with COVID. Those under age 5 who tested positive for a second virus, such as a cold, were significantly more likely to receive increased oxygen support or be admitted to the intensive care unit. Researchers from the CDC also found children under age 2 who also had RSV were twice as likely to have severe respiratory illness compared to those without RSV.
Young children haven't had the experience of these viruses that we older folks have had.
Dr. William Schaffner is a professor of infectious diseases at Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
Stands to reason that they may be hit a little bit harder and get a little sicker.
Among the entire U.S. population, the CDC says flu and RSV cases have started to decline in most areas, but COVID cases are on the rise compared to the fall.
The winter's not over. Those viruses are still out there. Let's continue to take good precautions.
Health experts say those precautions include making sure young children are vaccinated against COVID and the flu and frequent hand washing. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The study also found among hospitalized children with COVID, obesity and diabetes were also associated with severe illness. A winter storm system is heading our way.
That means those ice and snow-free roads will soon be a thing of the past. Back to more typical winter driving. Armand Rahman joins us live with a closer look at how Madison streets crews are getting ready for what's to come. Armand?
Yeah, Eric and Susan, 32 plows filling up with salt that they may use because those roads, they may not be icy, but they wanted to reiterate that slippery conditions will come from the slush that forms on top of that warm pavement. So like you said, Eric, it's time to dig up those safe winter driving techniques, give people plenty of stopping space, and make sure you watch out for those plows and give them space as well. Right now, we can feel the temperature definitely dropping as that storm nears. Be sure to stay with us for more updates. For now, live in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
All right, Armand, thank you. And let's head to Julian C. right now with the latest on the snow and when it's expected to move in. Julian?
Yeah, we're going to be first starting talking about our winter weather bulletins, which is going to be really impacting southern Wisconsin as we get into the later parts of this evening, especially for Dane County. Around 7 p.m. is when we're going to start to watch to see those winter weather advisories to go into effect until about 9 a.m. going into tomorrow. But areas just to the north, Juneau, Adams County, and alike are going to be seeing their winter storm warning in effect for 9 p.m. because those are going to be the areas where we're really going to be watching for us to see more snowfall for those areas. Now, as we continue to see what we're going to be looking at throughout the rest of the entirety of this event, well, moving along, we will start to see, if you give me one more second, well, we're going to go right into what we have for our alert day. Now, moving ahead, we have the accumulating snow, which will begin once again for tonight. And that is going to really impact the overnight hours and for our morning commute. We're looking for 2 to 6 inches of snowfall to be impacting many areas, but if you're closer to the Illinois state line, really that's going to be the freezing rain for this event throughout the evening, early tonight until we get into tomorrow. Now, taking a live look outside of Madison, it's cloudy, it's chilly, it's rather on the breezy side as well. But looking ahead, temperatures themselves are still into the mild side. Mid-30s, going to start to see a fall closer to the freezing point once we get into the later part of tonight, as we'll start to see that transition of any kind of rain or freezing rain go into the snow. So the snow's not going to really be here until we get into the later parts of tonight. And you can see that system, very robust, coming in from the Great Plains into the upper Midwest. But the leading edge of it is really just rain, which is still pounding northern parts of Illinois. As we take a look at our radar, that's what we're really starting to see. Rain first, any kind of snow is mainly flurries or light, but as we get into the next few hours, it's going to start to move its way into parts just south of Dane County. Now, once we get into the later parts of this evening, as those temperatures start to slide, wintry mixes are really going to be the main story for us to begin this evening. But once we get into tonight, that's when we're going to start to see that transition of snowfall, and it's going to be heavy, wet snow. So once you're going into tomorrow morning, just note it's going to be slippery, it's going to be slushy. But again, since south of Dane County, we're not going to be looking at too much in terms of that snowfall really sticking around because temperatures being so warm and the low snowfall rates. We're not looking for tomorrow to be too much of a mess in terms of how much snow we got, but how slippery things are going to be. Now, getting into the rest of our Thursday late morning, you can see just some light snow starting to stick around just north of Madison, but the heavier snow is still going to be impacting areas north of the Dells, where we're still looking to see the most snowfall. Getting into our Thursday afternoon, it's going to be the best time to start to shovel any kind of snow that has fallen for us. But outside of that, it's going to be heavy and wet, so be prepared for a little bit of a workout because it's not going to be the most easy snow to move out. Getting into our Thursday night, thankfully, it's going to be pretty much over. Now, take a look at our snowfall potential. Not much adjustment from what we've had over the last 24 hours, except for just around Madison. We're looking closer to around 2 inches of snowfall and closer to the Illinois state line. May see about 1 to 3, maybe even just 1 for some areas. Higher amounts will be north of the Dells, 3 to 6 inches, and 6 to 9 just north of La Crosse area. Now, taking a look at our 10-day forecast, we still have that alert day in the forecast for us, but that's going to be clearing up once we get into our Thursday afternoon. The weekend will be quiet. We're going to see temperatures into the 20s, and heading into next week, we're going to be rather seasonal into those lower 30s. Take a look at traffic as of right now. Still rather smooth on the Beltline with some slow spots onto the ramps, but overall, not too bad. It's going to do it for our weather and traffic. Let's go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. Janesville about a month away from adding another grocery store, but it's much more than that. It's a needed asset in the community, and the Hy-Vee store that's going in will also have a Mark Wahlberg-inspired restaurant. Wahlburgers, leaving them looking for a whole lot of helpful smiles to fill those aisles.
The city of Janesville continues to grow, and we're extremely grateful for that. In this corridor of Milton Avenue and Highway 14 is one of our major retail corridors, right? And so looking at a project with an adaptive reuse of a facility like this, which used to be a Shopko, which is now a Hy-Vee, and it's a national grocer, right? But it comes with other assets and resources that are extremely exciting to our community.
And the store alone will add some 600 jobs, and other stores have already committed to the surrounding land there, boosting the economy for years to come. And tonight at 6, we'll give you a full breakdown of what you can expect and how this will impact you. Could food prices finally be leveling off a bit? A key government report suggests yes. We'll have the details next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Shop Menard's full selection of interior lighting. Find your style with Patriot Lighting's unique finishes and styles, including the Citrine Collection in gold. We have the lighting for any room of your home. Save big money on Patriot Lighting. Combine stylish lighting with the advantages of LED technology with Fight Electric dimmable light bulbs. The vintage look is ideal for open fixtures, and the traditional design creates a warm contemporary feeling. Save big money on Fight Electric light bulbs at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
This is how it feels to do more with less asthma, thanks to Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Imagine that. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
Monsters of Destruction is coming, and coming with a vengeance. Monster Trucks, Top Trucks, Monster Truck Rides, new to Madison, Quad Wars, no rules, all things go race to the finish you don't want to miss. Buckshot, War Wizard, Heavy Hitter against the King and Alcatraz, all ready for 3 massive shows. Every ticket is a pit pass. Come early to meet the drivers. Take a ride, snap a pic with a real monster truck. Don't miss the Monsters of Destruction at the Alliant Energy Center, January 27th, 28th, and 29th. Get your tickets now at monstersofdestruction.com.
I became an orthopedic surgeon for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons. To help you take walks again. To ease your pain. To rebuild your strength. And at every step along the way,
we take the time to answer all your questions.
We're here because we care. We care about you. You.
You.
They care about me. Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics, now offering robotic-assisted knee replacement. Surgenian's landfill-free guarantee has kept more than 20 million pounds of commercial and residential carpet and pad from area landfills. Visit Madison's largest showroom of flooring options, including eco-friendly products. Local, sustainable Surgenians.
Need life insurance? Select Quote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And Select Quote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Select Quote. We shop, you save.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A key government inflation measure released this morning pointed to lower food prices last month.
It's also a sign the Fed's efforts to curb inflation may finally be bringing prices under control. Karen Kafa breaks it down from Washington.
A better-than-expected reading of a key government index may be another indicator inflation relief is on the way. The U.S. Producer Price Index, or PPI, declined 0.5% last month compared to November, more than economists expected. And PPI, which measures the prices that sellers pay for goods and services before they reach consumers, is often seen as a solid predictor of where inflation is headed. Food prices declined 1.2%, the biggest monthly dip in 2 years. It's not enough to put a major dent in grocery bills just yet, but perhaps a sign inflation is turning a corner. And although prices for items like fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, grains, and cooking oils have soared in the last 12 months, those increases dialed back between November and December. Of course, other variables can impact food production, like the U.S. avian flu outbreak that has kept egg prices climbing, and recent storms in California that could wreak havoc with U.S. produce supply.
Destruction of crops is going to act as a supply side shock. So that means that we're going to have a harder time sourcing these fruits and vegetables domestically.
But recent reports show overall price inflation moving in the right direction. Down. The December Consumer Price Index, CPI, pointed to an overall drop month to month for the prices paid by consumers for the first time in nearly 3 years. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And we're back with a final check of the forecast when we return.
Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep on the most recommended mattress in America? Tempur-Pedic mattresses are designed to make aches and pains a thing of the past by relieving pressure points and supporting the body as no other mattress can. Right now, Queen Tempur-Pedics start at just $40 per month when you use Steinhaffel's 72-month financing. It's time you got a great night's sleep. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhaffels.
Family-owned Brothers Maine knows choosing appliances for a remodel or new build can be exciting and overwhelming. Our experienced staff has experienced it all as we've guided thousands of area families through appliance selection. Brothers Maine has a larger inventory and low-price deals that consistently beat competitors, including Big Box. You heard me. Big Box can't beat our prices. From sales to install, Brothers Maine does it all. Feel great about your purchases and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Prices slashed further at Denny's Jewelers Retirement Sale. Now save up to 65% off store-wide. All must go. All bridal jewelry, all colored stoneware, rings, all silver jewelry, all pearls, all diamond bracelets and pendants. Absolutely every finished piece is up to 65% off. Pete, Denny, and family are saying thank you, Middleton, for 40 years of support. Join them for their retirement celebration. Pete Denny is retiring, and Denny's Jewelers retirement sale is in progress. Prices slashed further. Now save up to 65% off. All must go. 1903 Cuyahoga Street, Middleton.
There's nothing like volunteering at the fire department.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it hasn't always been easy.
Since my skin was so irritated and itchy.
And even worse with all my gear on.
Now, I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema. So adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal your skin from within.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
Let's go to Julian, one final check.
Well, we're going to start to see some activity later this evening, but for the 5 o'clock rush hour going into 6 o'clock, it's going to be fine. It's mainly 7, 8 o'clock. We're going to start to see some wintry mixes first, snow coming in later tonight, and especially for the overnight. But expect some disruptions going into your Thursday morning, but once we get into Thursday afternoon, things are going to start to clear up.
All right, stay with our weather team at the very latest. Thanks for joining us at 5. We're back with more updates in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell is next.